Hello, everyone. This is Charity McNally Kerrigan again, and we're continuing on our journey for sleep solutions for our families. Today, we are going to talk about silliness and play and how to integrate that in a way that we can support in our sleep journey as a family. Silliness and play is often a very big part of the sleep routine already because it bubbles out of our children right before the big transition to bed, before the big separation from parents. And at the end of the day, after a day of work or care for our children, we don't always have the energy for all this silliness that's bubbling out of them, especially if there's more than one in there. This is when the wrestling happens, or this is when the clinginess happens. And the thought of adding more play to that and exasperating all those symptoms makes us a bit nervous as parents. But that's because we're looking at it through an adult lens, where silly equals out of control. If we shift that lens to look at play as a way to meet children's need, the first thing we're going to talk about is using that energy. Quebec has this really great thing that they're integrating into childcare centers called the Rosy Cheek Challenge, because it's an easier way to recognize or measure that children are getting their heart rates up and really using an incredible amount of physical energy. So, those kids that get rosy cheeks and they're a bit sweaty. We want this for our children. And in North America right now, kids are not getting enough of this level of play. There's a few ways that we can do this. And even if we live in an apartment or if we have all the space in the world, there's ways we can find a time to integrate this play. So start with 5 minutes. Give yourself 5 minutes of being silly to get our bodies and our minds back into the ability to play. So you can play things like being a bear and crawling across the floor, or if you're able to, if you have a stairwell in your apartment building or stairs in your home, having the children run their age up and down the stairs. Oh, you're 10, you're 8, you're 5. Okay, you do the stairs 10 times, you do it 8 times, and you do it 5 times. I might sit this one out because I don't want to do it 37 times. Or you can do it 5 times with the youngest and see if you can join in with that. Getting to the place where their cheeks are rosy. If you're comfortable with them using furniture, taking the couch cushions off and jumping, the floor is lava, jumping from place to place. If you think back, games that you played naturally in your own childhood, because that's what your body needed, are really great games to integrate into this energy rosy cheek challenge we can add for our family's day. And it seems counterintuitive to do this about an hour before bed because we want them to start calming down. But it's all that excess energy that leads to needing another drink of water, another cup, having to go to the bathroom again. It helps to settle that part of them. It helps to start their brain settle. And we know this about exercise for adults, is that when you use that energy and when you have that outlet for your brain and you have that rush of dopamine, then you can settle into a more restful place. The next thing I would like to talk about is transitional games. I've shared before in the first video that my partner is much better at this than I am. So it's not natural for everyone, and that's okay. But getting kids into the washroom to brush their teeth and do those routines, using songs and stories and rhymes can be a much gentler way to do it than being very directive. If it's not something you feel comfortable with, or you're not ready to get that lead silly play, there is wonderful technology for that. Just an audio recording, if possible, of a silly brush your teeth song, like Raffi's Brush Your Teeth, or, up like the mountain, down like the rain, back and forth like a choo-choo train. Little things that help cue the child and that take away some of the pressure that they might be feeling through these transitions. And honestly, it's a lot easier to not get frustrated when we're singing or when we're playing games, so that can help. What my partner does that's really successful, especially with our youngest one, is being different types of transportation or animals to get into and out of the bathroom. So into the bathroom and into the bed. Like today, let's be race cars and drive there, going down the hallway. It's a connection activity then, instead of you do this, you must do this, you must obey. It switches it into being from a child's lens. They don't have the same agenda as us. They don't really care if they brush their teeth or if they have enough rest. It's not something that's their priority. So the fact that we think we can be logical with them and have them understand our reasoning often backfires. So making it playful, can be a really helpful way to transition without that frustration bubbling up inside of us. Again, you might not have energy for this at the time of the day, and that's when you're going to fall back on routine and rhythm. And we'll continue talking about that as well. But this is just something that can add a bit of joy to both of our days. The last thing I'd like to talk about is attachment games, connection-seeking games. A child is told what to do so much. And we always think we want to be kids again. But if you really think about how little autonomy children in our culture are given, you might change your mind pretty quickly. A really lovely connection game can be to let them be in charge. So we're putting on pajamas, we're getting ready for bed. Maybe you let them pick out your pajamas, or you let them tuck you in and get ready for bed and get to tell you to go brush your teeth. Be like, okay, you're the parent and I'm the child. Now you tell me what to do to get ready for bed. And they're in charge for a little bit. They get to work through some of their processing from their day by directing you. Okay, you're going to wear these pajamas and you're going to go brush your teeth. And I told you 2 minutes. And some kids really need that outlet. So it can be a big connection game. Again, with brackets, you can say, okay, we're going to do this for 10 minutes and then it's time for stories. Keeping those brackets around the play at nighttime can help protect us and the child so that we don't get frustrated. The last game I want to talk about can be a very, very important game in attachment-seeking behaviors, and that is hide and seek. It's been played for generations with good reason, and that is that it helps practice with the separation and reconnection. This is why play is so important, because it helps us take these big, scary themes and put them into processes that children can handle. There's something very powerful about being sought, about being found, about being brought back to the adults in your life. I just want to put a disclaimer that if a child has suffered severe abuse or neglect, you will want to talk to a psychologist or a play therapist before engaging with this game. But for any other child, it's that practice between when I go to sleep, I will wake up and see my parents. When I go to daycare, my parents will come back. When I am hiding, they will find me. So setting up some time to play hide and seek. And I know that a lot of kids are not great at this game, that they will hide in plain sight. And that's not the point. The point is that they will be found. And that's why when they're 2, 4, 5, they're going to hide so that they're found quickly, because it is too big of separation. But it's a really powerful game that has a purpose, that has a deep purpose. The first couple weeks you add this type of play in, you'll have them being like, one more round, one more game, because kids all function in this idea of scarcity where they're like, oh, I'm never going to get enough of this. But if it's part of your routine and they start seeing that you're going to have space for this every day, they will be able to stay in the boundaries of the play. I know this isn't as simple as I'm making it sound, and I know everyone's quite tired at this time of day, but if we make it playful, then the relationship will be protected as we transition into this large separation that is sleep time. So this is what ways that we can add play into our routine.